Welcome to Tash Talks Soul. Hi and welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about the importance of watching what you consume. What sorts of TV shows do you watch? What kind of music do you listen to? What sort of conversations do you entertain? Do you watch the news? What is the quality of your thinking? The reason I say all of this is because our subconscious mind cannot actually tell fact from fiction, which is why affirmations and visualizing and all of these exercises that you hear about in your manifestation journey work so well, because your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference, even to the point if you're driving along and somebody cuts you off and you say, "Oh, you effing idiot," your subconscious mind thinks that you're calling yourself an effing idiot. Because it cannot tell. There is no separation. Everything is one. It just assumes that everything that you think, hear, listen to, talk about, everything is true. It's just all truth. And so if you are out there calling other people names and judging people and being really harsh towards them, and then find yourself maybe not feeling so great internally, and in addition, your internal self-talk isn't very healthy or great or positive or supportive to yourself, it becomes this vicious cycle where you are just awful to other people, you're awful to yourself, and the whole thing just deteriorates. Very low vibe. In addition to this, if you are watching TV shows which are stressing you out, introducing fear, stress, anxiety, any sort of negative emotion, you are absorbing that energy and taking it on. If you're listening to music which is very aggressive or very negative or very, there's in all different genres, some more than others, there's quite negative music, you are absorbing that vibration. That begins to affect you. If you're watching the news all the time and it is, scary, fear-inducing, you're left thinking, oh my goodness, the state of the world, what's going to happen? And you fall into this trap of overlooking all the love and positivity in the world and focusing on the negatives. That starts to affect you. You take that on. If you are having conversations with people that are complaining or negative or talking bad about other people or complaining about your situation or picking out a situation in your day where something happened and it wasn't great, and instead of talking about it or framing it in a way where maybe there's a silver lining or, oh well, that happens, and you decide to harp on about it, that affects your vibration. All of these things are just dragging you down. If you use social media, most of us probably do in this day and age, and you are scrolling through and people are complaining and there's, can't believe this happened in the world and this is so unfair and this is terrible and the world is, in an awful place. What's going to happen to our kids and our children's children? This is a disgrace. The more you buy into that, all of that fear porn, the more that affects you. You're taking it on, it's affecting your vibration, and it is programming your subconscious mind to expect a negative reality. If you're telling yourself that things are negative, there's so much to complain about, life sucks, this world is screwed, we're all doomed, do you think you're going to be happy in life? Do you think you're going to be fulfilled and filled with love and gratitude on a consistent enough basis that you're having a positive life experience? Probably not. You are telling your subconscious mind to look for the negative. And you'll find it, because our subconscious mind doesn't want you to be crazy. You are programming your reticular activating system. It's like a computer scanner. You're telling it what you want it to look for. And the more you're putting yourself in an environment where it's negative, it's complaining, it's doom and gloom, it's the fear porn, the more your mind's going to look for that, and the worse you're going to feel going through life. As opposed to being very mindful about what you consume. If you start to program your subconscious mind to expect positivity, optimism, love, gratitude, the world being a wonderful place, everybody's wonderful, all of a sudden your relationships are probably going to become wonderful, your experience of life is going to be wonderful, and even if negative things happen, circle back to that in a minute, happen in your day, you will have the emotional resilience to deal with it in a much healthier way, which will directly impact your happiness in life, your day-to-day happiness. And the point that I raised earlier, nothing that happens in the world is inherently good or bad, because you could get 2 different people or 10 different people and put them in the same situation and have them experience the same event, and they will all walk away with different perceptions of it. Even something as crazy as, killing someone, you might have a regular person who looks at that and says, that is clearly wrong. That is terrible. On what planet can somebody think that that's a positive thing? And then you get a serial killer whose hobby it is to do that, and they're going to look at that and say, great, what a great time. That's a very extreme example. But no matter what situation you present a person with, there is guaranteed to be another person that doesn't think that's negative. So it's all about how we are programming our brain, our subconscious mind, this computer, to process the information that it receives. And if it is primed to process things negatively, then you will have more quote-unquote negative experiences. In the universe, energy is energy. There's no good energy and bad energy. It just is. Everything is neutral. What gives it meaning is the meaning that we give it, that we assign to it. And that meaning comes from our past experiences, any beliefs, values, historical experiences, whatever we have experienced in our programming up to that given point will affect how you view things. And just because you've been programmed a certain way doesn't mean that you're doomed forever to see things that way. You can always reprogram yourself, and I am certain there will be plenty more episodes on how to do that. Lord knows I've done a lot of this work myself, particularly since having kids. I have worked a lot with Catherine Zankina from Manifestation Babe. She was a really good fit for me at the time, and she really brought my attention to the power of the subconscious mind and how that shapes our reality. We are literally just a computer that we've programmed, and the reality we experience is the reality that we expect to see. If, for example, you might buy yourself a new car and then all of a sudden you start seeing that car everywhere, is that because that car just magically started appearing on the roads and everybody has that car? Or is it because you've programmed your mind as this is something that's important to me, therefore your brain says, oh, that's important to us. Let me show you all of the examples of where this shows up in the world because this is important to my person, this mind. And that's just one example, and you can find this anywhere, and particularly with the media that we consume. I personally have unfollowed all news outlets on my social media because it all got to me when I was pregnant with my last child, and there were all these stories about pregnant women being assaulted and raped and going missing and dying and all this awful stuff, and it was causing me stress. My internal balance and peace was off because of this stuff. And I thought, you know what, no more. Unfollow absolutely everything. If I need to know something, I'll Google it. And we all know how memes are these days. If something happens in the world, you're going to know about it on social media, even if you're not following any news outlets. I stopped watching shows that made me uncomfortable. Just don't want to watch it. Anything that causes me stress, on a scale of slightly more than mildly uncomfortable for the purposes of entertainment, I just don't do it. There might be people out there that can watch a horror show and for them that brings genuine entertainment and they are not affected by it on any level. But for me personally, I don't really watch scary shows anymore because why stress myself out? Why invite that fear into my subconscious mind? Not into it, don't want it. I have made a conscious choice to experience my reality as positive, and the world is a wonderful place and people are beautiful and everything is wonderful and fantastic. And people who don't share my worldview might think, well, that's naive, that's stupid, that's not reality. You know what? Yeah, maybe not in your reality, but in my reality, I choose to be, Delulu is the Salulu. I choose to focus on the positive. And so the positive is what I see. I generally don't speak ill of other people. If I don't have anything nice to say, but I'm in a conversation where, that's almost being pulled out of me, I might make a general observation, or I'll try find silver lining, and then it's like I've answered, but I haven't actually said anything negative about anybody. I'm very careful with the music I listen to. Now, I heard an episode on Catherine Zankina's Manifestation Babe podcast where she was talking to her friend, and they were talking about how they use music to manifest. And the reason I'm bringing this up is it's really interesting how our brains process incoming information. Catherine was saying that when she hears music, she doesn't really hear the lyrics. The vibration of a song, or how a song makes her feel, is based solely on the beat. So the beat is what affects how she feels. If it makes her feel uplifted or positive or, some kind of way, then she likes that song. She can manifest the feelings to it. Her friend was saying she's the opposite. For her, it's the words, it's the lyrics. That's what affects her feelings about that song and how she experiences, the listening of it. I'm a little bit of both, depends on the genre. I do enjoy lyrics, but often I will only hear the beat, particularly with heavy rock. I cannot hear the words. My brain cannot. For some reason, it's just all becomes noise and I cannot distinguish the words. Whereas other genres, I prefer the lyrics. So the reason I bring that up is the way that you experience the media that you consume may differ from person to person. I'm sitting here saying watch the lyrics that the music you listen to has. But for you, it might not be the lyrics. You might be quite comfortable with, quote unquote negative lyrics as long as the beat is positive and uplifting. So take it as it resonates, because our brains do process things differently. But keep in mind that if you are constantly consuming media or conversations around you that are negative, that will prime your mind to be more negative. And it's like that saying, you are the sum of the 7 people that you spend the most time with. So we consciously, unconsciously, I don't know how this happens, but we just absorb and kind of enmesh with the energy of the people that we're spending time with. So if you're spending all of your time with people that are constantly degrading other people or complaining about the world or focusing on the negatives, then that will affect how you view the world. Particularly if, everybody else that you hang out with is like that. I noticed that maybe about 10 years ago in my life, I was in an environment where there was a lot of gossiping, and I took part in the gossiping, even though it made me feel absolutely horrid on the inside. And eventually, as I became more assertive in myself, I would remove myself from those situations and I would refuse to participate. And happy to say now I don't gossip at all, but maybe sometimes I gossip. I don't know what classifies as gossiping, but certainly not at the level that I knew was very, very negative for me, where we would find a person and almost pick on them and then concentrate on everything negative that they were doing. And then every time they do something new, it would be like, oh, so-and-so said this, oh, so-and-so said that. Just the repulsion I feel in my body, even remembering that, is just extreme. I hated it, and it does nothing for your vibe. It's not coming from an energy of love or gratitude, and it's just disgusting. I do have very strong opinions on this because I remember how awful it made me feel to partake, and I was in an environment where that was the norm. And so I did partake, even though it wasn't what was in my heart. And I think if we're honest, it's not in anybody's heart. Most people don't want to be negative about other people. Maybe that's my naive optimism shining through, but I think most of us want to exist in a vibration of love and gratitude and joy and having a wonderful experience of our lives. And when we do get derailed into participating in these negative behaviors, I don't think that's something anybody intentionally sets out to do. But just be mindful, be mindful of the people that you surround yourself with. Be mindful to what you listen to. Are you consuming just crap for the sake of it? How can you become more intentional in your life and more selective about what it is that you consume? So something to think about and just see how you go. Maybe have a look at your life, look at your social media, look at the movies you're watching, the music you're listening to, the conversations you're having, and see where might you be programming yourself to experience life in a way that's not as positive or loving or grateful or joyful that you might maybe want it to be. So have a think about that. Hope you have a great day. Bye.